Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna look at the Sydney Hackathon. As you know, it's a little bit different setting. It's actually daytime. Maybe there'll be less ambulance moving around during the day. But yeah, so Sydney Hackathon, EOS Global Hackathon, took place in August 4th to 5th. Again, it's a two-day event stretching over Saturday and Sunday. Same format as before, 26 hours. You have to you have to meet the criteria for the challenge, and then you get a high score of odd from the judges on the four criteria, which is utilization, creativity, impact, and scalability. So utilization of the EOS blockchain technology, how creative your solution is towards the challenge, the problem you're trying to solve, the impact it's going to make, either in a business monetary sense or in the welfare of the users of your application, and scalability, how accessible, how easy to use it is for your application, how many people can use your application. So yeah, so the challenge for the Sydney Hackathon is Hack the Outback. Australia is one of the largest countries in the world. Its ocean territory is the third largest, and more than 91% of its landmass is covered by native vegetation. Blockchain technology enables the creation of scalable applications that can trace and measure transactions and reward individuals for environmental preservation activities. The challenge: create a dApp on EOS IO platform that will empower the public to play a role in sustaining natural environment for the future. So that is the challenge, and you see the challenge reflected in the judges, because there's going to be a lot of, or at least a few judges that have background in uh, environmental preservation. And yeah, so I do wonder if they select the judges first before setting the challenge, or they set the challenge first and then select the judges. But either way, I think it's the judges play a huge role in in your chance of success. So here's more information about the hackathon, the first about the prizes, the first, second, third place, and specialty prizes. And another thing they announced at the Sydney Hackathon, or starting at the Sydney Hackathon, is that the top 10 teams will get to pitch in front of EOS VC, and of the top five of those top 10 teams, they're going to receive $50,000 for as the initial funding for the project. So this is on top of the $100,000 first place prize, and I think was 700, 750 second place prize, and then the no, I think it's 100,000 for first place, 50,000 for second place, and then 10,000 for the third place. This is on top of that. So very, very exciting. I mean, as long as you get into the top five, you're gonna come away with at least $50,000. So that's pretty good. So here are our judges. We have someone new, Rob Judison, Group President, Block.one. So let's read his profile. Rob is a member of Block.one's board of directors and is responsible for group global operations. Prior to joining Block.one, he worked at Commonwealth Bank of Australia, a global top 12 bank by market capitalization, 125 Australian dollars, billion Australian dollars, for 6.5 years, mostly as its chief financial officer. Before CBA, Judison worked at Credit Suisse as head of global emerging market for its financial institutions group. Early, Earlier in his career, he held positions at JP Morgan, Barclays, GE Capital, and McKinsey and Company. So we have another insider from Block.one, and I think his background is quite interesting. He comes from a very he's very involved in finance, in the banks, in the finance industry with the banks. Chief Financial Officer for Commonwealth Bank of Australia, and then worked as head of global emerging markets. So what I wanted to find out was which market specifically. So I did little bit of research. Here's his LinkedIn profile. There wasn't too much on it, and but I did find an article by Block.one that gave a little bit more detail on his background. So I'm just gonna read just the part that interests me. Right. So Judison currently serves as Group Executive Financial Services and Chief Financial Officer at CBA. Or he quit that position actually. Oversees group finance, audit, treasury, security, property, and investor relations. Okay. So here is a statement from Brendan Bloomer on Rob. Rob has a proven track record of success in global financial services, where he has been involved in industry innovation and facilitate regulatory advancement and enabling adoption of new technologies. So here is someone who is an insider in the banks that helped with regulation. So I think that's gonna be his role to um, kind of bring the connection and the experience and expertise in regulatory compliance for blockchain technology for EOS specifically. And he goes on to and Brendan Bloomer goes on to say he aligns with our organization priority of creating compliant, high-performance blockchain solutions. It is an ideal fit for Block.one, and is an exciting conclusion to our exciting conclusion to our thorough search for the right individual. So he is a group president. Um, I don't know what that means. I have to be honest. So it'd be interesting to see how big a role he actually played in the organization. So obviously now the two most public-facing individuals is Brendan Bloomer and Dan Larimer. As the group president, he is. I think he is more um, going to be paying attention to the investor side thing. So EOS has a venture capital arm now, EOS VC, and he has worked with a lot of different venture capital partners. I think he's going to be paying attention more to that front, managing the VC partnerships. So this is what he said about blockchain technology, EOS in specific. So this is the part where I'm interested in. So at CBA, he managed the group's international growth in digital banking, retail and commercial banking, and insurance in China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and South Africa. So these were the emerging market that he was talking about: China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and South Africa. So here are the places that blockchain technology could reach, could have a dramatic impact for those markets, where the banking sector, specifically the digital banking sector, is not too well developed. Just like how digital banking leapfrogged traditional banking in some African regions, I think it's going to do the same for these emerging markets. And you can see that on Steam, where there are a lot of people from um, these regions: China, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and South Africa, and even I think Thailand was also a big part in a big community in Steam. So it'll be really interesting to see the crossover, or at least the things he will do for those emerging markets. Okay, so that is Rob Judison. And then we have Andrew Bliss, who is a returning judge from the last hackathon. He is a CFO of Block.one. We won't go too much into his bio, but I have a feeling he's gonna be there for the London hackathon, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many of the Block.one insiders they want to be on the judging panel. We already have Brendan Bloomer and Dan Lermer on the judging panel, so if they add Rob and Andrew, that'd be four. On four individuals related to Block.one on the judging panel. So that might be a little too much. we haven't seen anyone who was on block.one and then was not, because they think it might be too many block.one individuals. So we will see. We'll see. So next we have Lena Lim, Head of Technology, NXL Limited, and Managing Director, Tempest Aventus. And here is her bio. Lena Lim is the Head of Technology at the National Stock Exchange of Australia, NXX, where she is responsible for strategic direction on innovative product and technology adoption for the business. Recognized by CIO 50 Australia 2017 as a rising star, Lena was included on the CIO 50 Ones to Watch list. She is also the managing director and co-founder of Tempest Ventures, a startup company that focuses on promoting and delivering blockchain and distributed ledger technology in the financial markets and services industry. She is actively involved in the blockchain for social impact, fintech, and promoting women in financial technology and impact investing space as her deep passions. Lena is also one of the founding directors of Blockchain Philanthropy Foundation, a non-for-profit organization with purpose statement is to enable and accelerate humanitarian and social good projects and initiatives worldwide through blockchain technology. BPF is committed to be the catalyst of change for the world by providing thought leadership in blockchain for philanthropy and social good space, connecting NFPs, corporates, governments, philanthropists, and blockchain community together to build a better future. Okay, so that was exceptionally long bio with many organizations is involved in. So Tempest Ventures being her own. I haven't actually. I should do that. So let's see what that's about. But I did read a article that she wrote that I think was quite interesting. Okay. Interesting website, to say the least. We guide and assist capital market participants to design and deliver disruptive, innovative business model that leverage distributed ledger technology. Okay. So they help with designing token economics. Nimble. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so here are the target markets, and you can see that these target markets overlap with Rob's background at CBA. So that is China, Indonesia, South Africa, and I guess the entire African continent, and also South America, surprisingly. Um, yeah, Vietnam, Indonesia. Okay, so interesting. So I think maybe Rob had a hand in bringing Lena on board as a judge. Okay, so that's interesting. And then there's also the article she wrote on LinkedIn on blockchain financial inclusion that I also think was very interesting. So their focus was on financial, bringing blockchain, using blockchain to bring financial services to emerging markets that might not have those infrastructures in place. Blockchain financial inclusion. I have the link to this, all these down in the description if you want to read more. And if you want to commentate on it, please let me know what you think. Maybe there's something that I kind of gloss over that you think I should put more emphasis on. So far we have two individuals whose background and current whose background was or current occupation is to uh, help bring emerging markets and utilize blockchain technology in emerging markets. So now we have our fourth mentor, Johnny Henderson. This is, I think, a very interesting individual in combination with another individual down the list, which is I think was Reese Profit, who was also into marketing. But let's read his bio. So Johnny Hendrickson, founder and CEO of Shuttle Rock, and here is his bio. Johnny is a seasoned entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience within the ever-changing digital landscape digital marketing scene. He had a pioneer impact with the Japanese in particular, where he founded and listed Value Click Japan on the Tokyo Stock Exchange with a monthly reach of 40 million users. Johnny is the first foreigner to list a company on Tokyo Stock Exchange. In addition to personally investing in multiple tech startups, Johnny founded Shuttle Rock, the global leader in content and creative solution in 2011. Shuttle Rock are close to releasing an exciting blockchain project that will transform creative industries. I think, okay, let's before I jump to conclusion, I'll show you the uh, material I found that I think makes that last sentence very interesting. So if I just go to Shuttle Rock, his current company, if you go to their page, one of the products is called one of the products called Content Bank. And Content Bank, I'll just read it to you. Today is all about fresh content. Our Content Bank solution empowers your brand to collect, curate, consent, and publish and analyze your best user-generated content, all from one cloud-based solution. I think they're missing the word solution. Collect and curate. Some of your best assets may already exist. Shuttle Rock software, together with our dedicated content team, bring together your best social content, hashtag UGC, blogs, articles, photos, and videos, screened and neatly categorized to match your requirements. Obtain consent. Leverage your existing social media advocates. By combining software and managed services, Shuttle Rock fully manages the process of converting social content into consented marketing creative. Let me expand this. I think I'm missing something from these. Unlock fresh, authentic content daily. Publish your best content across our partner networks. Seamlessly publish your curated content across your website, digital display, social channels, and electronic mail and other digital channels. So I'll analyze the performance of contributors and publish outputs. Shuttle Rock's sophisticated technology provide blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is basically crowdsourced advertisement. That's what it is in one sentence. Crowdsourced advertisement. And one of the things I think Steam is great and is fantastic at is crowdsourced advertisement. You cannot be on Steam without running. You cannot be on Steam for 30 seconds without running to a article about Steam. Steam posts about Steam tends to be the highest earning posts on the Steam platform. Some might say that's like a circle jerk. The way I see it is a fantastic advertisement generation engine for the Steam platform. So bringing Johnny Hendrickson on as a judge, and in his profile they have a very exciting blockchain related project that will be released very soon, gives the hint to me that Steam 2.0, as Dan Larimer calls it, will have influence by Johnny Hendrickson. And Dan has said that they have something very exciting to announce in the London Hackathon. And I think from what I think he will announce is either a hardware wallet, which he's been saying that he will announce for ever since EOS has been released actually. So that would be an iPhone based solution. And I think in in connection to that, he will also release his new version of Steam, which would allow that those two combinations will allow anyone to sign in through their cell phone onto a social media blockchain platform. Um, so it's like Steam, but targeted mobile first. And a lot of these social media platforms are mobile first. So it's just the way it is. So I think that's gonna be a likely announcement in the London Hackathon. So that'll be very interesting to see. Okay. Also another article, another website here, just to talk about ValueClick, his auto company. So ValueClick is his innovation in the digital advertising industry. So they uh, invented what's called a cost per click model. So every time someone clicks, uh, they charge the company, they're advertising for. So if you remember early days on the internet, there would be sites where you could go, where you could click through advertisements, and they would pay you a little bit, and you could in points, and you could exchange those points for rewards. I know that because I wrote a script to click on those advertisements repeatedly. I got a few nice hard drives from Microsoft, I think. So that was I think that was related to this company. So that'll be interesting to see. Again, I think the people miss sometimes, like people bash Steam for being very uh, self-centered, like the focus on Steam itself. But if you take a look at it as like an advertisement platform, it's a fantastic advertisement platform. Like it just pumps out content like no tomorrow. Imagine all of YouTubers, all they ever talk about is YouTube. Like we don't YouTube at this. I think in early stages that's what YouTube was like. In early stages, YouTubers were talking a lot about the platform itself. Now that it's so big that it doesn't need any like YouTubers talking about YouTube anymore. But there's still um, that user generated advertisement side for YouTube where they rely on the content their users generate to advertise rather than the content they make themselves. So that'll be very interesting to see. So what else we got here? So Dr. James Thomason, she is again a recurring judge from the last hackathon, and I think it's very likely she'll be at the London hackathon just because how involved she is in the London blockchain scene. So you can see here, mentor at London Blockchain Week, London FinTech Week, Consensus Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition, which is also in London. So yeah, I expect to see her again. If you haven't read her bio, I have the previous video I did. I read her bio. Maybe I do a little bit more research on her, but yeah, that's Dr. James Thomason. Now this next individual, Joe Shinkata, is interesting to say the least. So let's just read his bio. He's a managing director at Thinking Studios, and John Shinkata is the founder and managing director of Thinking Studio, a digital consultancy for financial services and insurance based in Sydney, Australia. Since the founding of Thinking Studio in 2013, Joe and his team have crafted digital experience, and patent for multiple startup ventures in the UK, US, and Australia, while also innovating with large corporate and government clients like Intel, Procter & Gamble, Tourism Australia, Sydney Opera House Trust, Macquarie Bank, Westpac Group, Steadfast Insurance Group, and Endeavour Energy. So he is a technology consultant, but when I visited his website, it led me back to Google search. Well, let me show you what I mean. So we go to here. We're gonna go Joe Shikata. No, sorry. We're gonna go Thinking Studio. Thinking Studio Sydney. So if you click on that link, it brings you back to Google. Which is interesting to say the least. I did manage to reach the web page. The only page that works is the blog page. If you click on any of these other tabs, it just brings you right back to Google. So that is interesting. Okay, other than the contact page, which just has a picture of Joe in the same shirt that he wears for his picture for the hackathon. So that's very interesting. Um, so I checked out his LinkedIn page. There was also not much to be seen there. He did advise for a single company or multiple companies, but I'm gonna find one. Oh, sorry. I think I have more energy during the night. So he's the CTO for Stylize, which is a advertising uh, agency with very limited details and a questionable team. Um, yes, this is their website, and this is their about page. Um, it is a little bit, how should I say, not very substantial. Um, so yeah, so you can see interior architecture. So I don't know what to make of this judge. If you know any more about Joe Shikata, please let me know. But he's kind of got me stumped. So the next judge is Reese Proudfoot, Innovation Strategist, World Wildlife Foundation Australia, and this is a long bio. Reese Proudfoot is Innovation Strategist at World Wildlife Foundation Australia. In 2017, Reese founded World Wildlife Australia's Sustainable Technology Accelerator, Panda Labs, with the mission to develop, support, and scale innovative global solutions for the Sustainable Development Goals. Panda Labs supports both social enterprise startups and corporate ventures and is currently incubating 2 blockchain venture partnerships. In 2017, Reese authored the report Can Technology Save the Planet? And developed the World Wildlife Foundation Global Network's Global Blockchain Strategy. Reese currently chairs the World Wildlife Global Blockchain Working Group. Reese's career began in advertising at News Limited in Sydney before making a significant pivot to work for 2 years in the Kingdom of Tonga on the capacity building and climate change adaptation with the Tongan business sector. Reese joined World Wildlife Foundation in 2012, working on climate change campaigns, including Earth Hour, which engaged hundreds of millions of ordinary people in sustainability, climate change, and energy every year. Reese now have over 15 years experience in innovation strategy and capacity building, campaigning, and coalition building. Reese has a master's degree in international social development from the University of New South Wales and is especially motivated by building public participation in problem solving and solution design. With the benefit of foresight, it seems like Reese Proudfoot had a very significant impact on the scoring of the other judges. I think it's maybe because of the topic of the challenge. He is the most qualified to be making those assessments. So you will see what I mean when we go over the winners of the hackathon. As for more of the background of Joe, Reese, we have his LinkedIn page here. So yeah, it's pretty much is what it says on the bio. And I did find this article that he made, that he wrote, I mean. So he is working closely, or at least knows Jane Thomason very well. So it could be that Jane brought him on board for the hackathon. But it does look like these people are well known in the blockchain circle. So yeah. So that's all the judges for the Sydney Hackathon. In the next video, we'll look at the winners. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video.